Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Creation Myths. What we're doing here is this. I have been kicking around this idea for some time, and I think it's time I just put it out there and see what the response is. This is something I've been thinking about for the better part of a year, and rather than try to flesh it out and make it perfect, I'm just going to throw the idea out there basically and see if people are interested. So, the background here is that one thing I'm frustrated with in the online evolution creationism space is that, in spite of my efforts and the efforts of many other people, a lot of the people who participate in public debates on this topic do the online YouTube evolution creationism debate are not very good at it. Not everyone, not by a long shot. There are some very talented, very skillful debaters for the evolution side, some of whom aren't even biologists, because honestly, content knowledge isn't the most important thing when you're doing this. But there are way too many people who, if I'm being completely honest, kind of suck at it. And when I watch debates between some rando creationist who has no formal science training and someone defending mainstream science who has the internet and a million resources at their fingertips, it's frustrating to see that person get absolutely dog walked by creationists and end up making creationism look good by being unable to address the extremely predictable things that creationists bring up because they don't have new arguments. They've been using the same basic arguments literally for decades. Now, let me say, because I'm complaining about what other people are doing on the internet here, let me say that I am not blameless in this situation. One of the big goals for this channel from the start has been to equip people with the tools to effectively respond to the most common creationist arguments, and also some really obscure ones that are out there. Now, my approach for a long time has been let me break this down and explain the science, right? That's been how I kind of approach this. If you watch my channel and you still get your butt kicked when you try to debate a creationist on YouTube, some of that is on me then, right? That's a fair criticism. If you're watching me, you think you can hang with a creationist and it turns out you can't, okay, I'm not blameless in that situation. That's fair. So what I've been trying to do more directly of late, I record this in February of 2026, late 2025, early 2026, what I've been trying to do more clearly and specifically is frame things in terms of how to respond quickly and clearly in a public video debate setting, right? So that biologists and non-biologists can quickly and clearly not just address the creationist arguments that you're going to hear, but make those creationists who make those arguments look silly, look foolish, look unserious, and most importantly, look weak to a general audience, to an audience who is not trained in evolutionary biology. The sad truth is that even though online debates don't matter at all for the scientific community, they matter a lot for the general public, right? Nobody settles scientific debates with online debates. But in, the real world outside of science, those events are influential. Those are things that people watch, and it influences how they think about not just the questions in the debate, but broader questions, right? The non-scientifically trained population, and importantly, voters will watch something like that, and that'll become part of their calculus in terms of their future behavior. I've said over and over, this debate isn't just about evolution and creationism. It's a signifier of the broader left-right political fight. And to the extent creationists come out ahead in the silly evolution versus creationism, evolution on trial online debates, to the extent creationists look good in those debates, that helps the right, that helps the neo-fascists, that helps the Christian nationalists. To the extent that they get their butts kicked, that helps the left, aka the good guys. So let me get to the point here. If you're wondering, like, okay, this is another rant about the broader context, what in the world is the point? The point is this. If there is interest, I want to host a series of live how to debate creationist boot camps. The idea is that a handful of people would join me in a live stream. We pick a specific creationist argument, genetic entropy, irreducible complexity, whatever, pick your topic. And we just kind of play through the different ways you can attack it and how the debate will flow for each approach. You make this argument, they're going to say this, you can say this in response, and so on. And we'll do this with me acting as the creationist. I've said before, somewhat jokingly, that I can do a better job arguing for creationism than most creationists, including the professional creationists out there. And I've said that as a joke, but it's actually true. I can actually do a really good job because I've spent, at this point in my life, literally decades learning the creationist arguments inside and out. So I can actually play that role. So my role in these streams will be to be the biggest possible pain in the ass for anyone who participates. Do everything I can to distract, mislead, get you off topic, trip you up with random, completely irrelevant details, anything. And to be completely clear, I'm going to be a giant pain in the ass, and anyone who participates is probably going to hate me by halfway through whatever it is we're doing. But what we're going to do as we do this, as I'm making you miserable by throwing out just all this creationist nonsense, is we're going to pause periodically and break down what's going on and how the different arguments actually work, like a scrimmage and like a basketball practice when you were a kid, right? And the flip side, to me probably frustrating everybody involved, is that the participants, and hopefully the audience, will come away much better able to punch and counterpunch when debating creationists for real. Right? So that's the idea. I want people to come on, if there's interest, come on, and, we'll go through genetic entropy, and I will make the genetic entropy argument as a creationist, and we'll go through how to show that I'm wrong. And we'll do that for as many creationist topics as their interest, and we'll just make it work, right? I'll host a series of creationist debate scrimmages, if you will, with people who debate creationists on the internet. So we can all hone our skills and put the creationists in their places. It'll be fun. It'll be frustrating, probably, for everybody except me. And it will, hopefully, be a benefit to the science advocacy community on, YouTube and the internet more broadly. So if you're interested, here's what you do. Email me. My email is, if you click on the channel, you go to the channel page and more info, the email pops up right there. But it's creationmythschannel@gmail. It's all one word, creationmythschannel@gmail. Straight through, all lowercase, all one word. Put the phrase boot camp in the subject so it stands out. Or, here's another thing you can do, if and only if you have a YouTube channel with an email address that's publicly available. If I go to your channel and I go to the channel info and more info and there's an email address there, comment below that you're interested and I'll put your email on the list that way. Now, there are a number of people I have in mind for this exercise, and many of those people are actually quite good at debating creationists. So don't interpret participation in this little project as a criticism or a denigration of your debate skills. If you email me and I say, yeah, let's do it, that doesn't mean I think you're bad at debating. Don't feel like that if you participate, people should assume that I think you're bad at debating. That isn't the case. I don't want to shame anyone into or out of participating if you're interested. You do you, whatever you're comfortable with. But if you're interested, just indicate that through one of the methods I just described so I know and we can get in contact. And if there's enough interest, I can set it up. So that's it for this one. I'm hoping to host some creationist debate scrimmages with me playing the part of the creationist to illustrate how creationists are going to debate and how to metaphorically beat the ever-loving shit out of them when they do. Email me or comment if you're interested in participating, but in particular, I'm hoping to get a bunch of people who, make it a thing that they do to debate creationists on the internet so we can all get better at it. That's what I wanted to kind of throw out there, so we'll see if there's any interest, and if there is, we'll see these streams start popping up on my schedule in the future. Thanks for watching. Before you go, please remember to do the algorithm-friendly things. Hit like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't get fooled.